Hey everyone, it's Stargirl the Practical Witch. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get started on today's video, I do want to give a quick shout out to my sponsors who were nice enough to make this video happen, and they are called NordVPN. Right now, NordVPN is offering 70% off to those who use my code Stargirl, as you guys can see, and on top of that, you'll also get 1 month free of NordVPN. Now, the reason why you need NordVPN is because it secures your internet traffic, encrypts it, and routes it through a remote server. Now, I know I had to read it off my script, and that's because I don't understand like the logistics and the computer stuff, but essentially this is really good because it protects your data from anyone trying to view it. Without VPN, your information and data is more prone to hackers trying to steal your information, and with how much stuff we do on our phones, our computers, how much personal information is there that could be really dangerous if someone were to view it, or just in general, if you want privacy, you really do need NordVPN. And I just wanted to add, for someone who doesn't really, know too much about computers, NordVPN was super easy to use, and regardless of whether or not you're a prolific computer user, you should definitely be using a VPN, and NordVPN is a great place to start. They also have 24/7 customer service, and not only that, they also have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so they really do take care of their customers. On top of that, NordVPN allows you to watch and view content not available in your country on streaming platforms and websites such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus. With 5,500 super-fast servers in 60 different countries, you can watch movies and TV shows not available in your country by simply using NordVPN and connecting to one of 60 different countries. This is such a great way to view new content that's not even available in your country, okay? And with all of the free time we have, NordVPN is perfect because this way you can open up all of the doors on the internet that normally are shut to you. So go ahead and protect your information today, or just unlock, content you wouldn't normally be able to see online by going to the link I provide in the description below. When you visit NordVPN and you use my 70% off discount code with 1 free month, you will see why NordVPN was voted #1 VPN in 2019. So thank you guys for sitting through that. Appreciate you. Now let's go back to the video. Hey, what's up everyone? It's Stargirl the Practical Witch, and welcome back to my channel. I'm here with another pick a card reading. The purpose of this video is simply just to point out the things about yourself that you may not see because you're too busy comparing yourself to someone else, while meanwhile people are actually comparing themselves to you. So I did pick up some secret admirers as well that were not platonic too, so all of that is going to be covered in this video. So the first thing I need you to do is I need you to pick one of the 5 groups. This is group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you've picked a group, you can fast forward to the timestamp I provide down below to see what your results are. If you need to pause the video to meditate on the cards, feel free to do so. But I also ask that you pick with your intuition and gut and not your eyes, because I find that does warrant the best, most accurate results, even though I did put the crystals on there, and that's simply because I will be removing the groups and I want you to have a marker so you know which group that you picked. So once again, the first group is a cluster of quartz. This is a selenite wand. This is a pointed cut quartz. This is, I don't know what it is, but it has a lot of white crystals and a stone. And then the last one is a quartz wrapped in copper wire. So you have your choice between one of the 5 groups. Just figure out which one is calling to you. Once again, if you need to pause the video to meditate on the cards, feel free to do so. But now that I've said that, we're going to go ahead and get started on the first group. All right, group number 1, let's go ahead and see why people admire you, who admires you, and hopefully bring some positivity to everything going on currently. And this is for people who chose pile number 1, which is the clear clear quartz cluster right here. If you chose this pile, this is the reading for you. And once again, we're doing group number 1. So let's go ahead and get into why people admire you and who specifically admires you currently. So the first thing I'm getting with the allowance card is I definitely see you guys are heart chakra people. You operate mainly from your heart chakra. And what I'm also seeing from this card, and by the way, this is a beautiful card to have on what energy and what vibration you give other people. This is a very beautiful card to have, because what this tells me is that people perceive you as someone who is very nurturing. First of all, you're definitely a heart chakra person, because as I can see from this card right here, and also this woman right here who has green radiating off of her shoulder, this tells me that your aura is definitely green. Your heart chakra is definitely your strongest chakra. And what I'm seeing about this is you give people really good energy, because one card that I have too is inner voice. And when I see inner voice, this definitely tells me that one thing people will say about you is that when they're around you, their intuition gives them very good vibes. You give people very good vibes, even if they don't know you very well. Even if you just met, it just seems to be like whenever you meet someone or come into contact with someone, their intuition and inner voice tells them that you are a very good person, and that's because you are radiating out of your heart chakra. And this also tells me as well, like, in the other decks, I was getting a lot of jealousy and, competition, but for you, group number 1, I actually don't feel that way. And the reason being is not because you don't have a reason for people to be jealous of you. It's mainly because you're so pure of heart, you're so down to earth, you're so kind, you're so chill, you're such a good energy that it's very hard for people to hate you. Specifically, group number 1, if you're a woman, I feel like a lot of women specifically admire you and they want to be like you, and they kind of want to follow you around and be your best friend. They kind of like as I can see with the 2 women right here, I kind of feel like women especially, naturally want to be your friend. They're very naturally drawn to you, and it's just because they want to be like you, but not really in a competitive way or some sort of weird rival way, just in a way where you are naturally a leader, in a sense where people want to follow what you're doing, not because you're trying to be a leader, but because you simply radiate something different about your energy, and that's something people really admire about you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we do have the Wheel of Fortune and the Destiny card right here, which is telling me that you just give off the energy like one day you have a great destiny, or you will be doing something great, or you will be a great person. Because Yod and Destiny over there pretty much speaks of someone who has some sort of special gift from God. And this is also seen in the Wheel of Fortune with Jupiter right here. This talks about having some sort of special purpose, life path, destiny, or special energy or gift from God that's hard to ignore. In group number 1, one thing people who admire you say is you kind of have the energy of someone who someday is going to make it big in something. You have something different about you that's very apparent in your energetic field that makes people think, wow, someday that person's going to make it, or they're going to be somebody. And it's just because you shine different than most people. You're very non-judgmental of other people, which is very rare in today's world. You don't judge people on their beliefs, what they look like, what they dress like. You're very open-minded and kind. You see people's soul is what I'm hearing. And that's something that makes you very unique, because with I keep the waters pure, I see one thing about you is you are very pure. You're very non-judgmental, you're very kind, and there's something very easygoing about you, but you just have that one day this person's going to make it. You know how you run into those people and you're like, you just know one day they're going to make it, and it's not about, them trying to get attention. It's just their energy field, and that's what you have, group number 1. And I also feel like too, group number 1, one thing about you is I do sense that one thing people get really jealous of or admire about you is that you have kind of an I don't try so hard energy. But even with that not trying so hard energy, you still seem to light up a room and make people gravitate towards you. I'm hearing that a lot of women want to be your friend, as I can see with the Six of Cups and the Three of Cups. But also you have a natural style to you. Maybe you don't wear so much makeup, or maybe you like to wear tube tops or flowy clothing or bohemian clothing. Maybe you have a boho beachy style or a laid back style, or more of a natural style, you know, not trying so hard. And people get jealous that you can pull off not trying so hard with your looks and still look and radiate in a glowing way. Like maybe you're someone who just has a skincare routine and just likes to keep their hair healthy and take vitamins. You're not about styling or putting on a ton of makeup. It's almost, I'm feeling a minimalism about you, group number one, that people really, you know, wish they could pull off without trying so hard. You, group number one, I feel like you just radiate because of that strong destiny, that you don't need to try so hard with your appearance, and that natural laid back look is something that others admire about you and wish that they had. I'm also seeing too, group number one thing about you is I think it's very likely, if this hasn't happened in your life already, one thing that's going to happen to you is I see a flip in destiny. Because when we have Yod and destiny in the Wheel of Fortune, this tells me that one day in your life, I feel like you're someone who could literally go from nothing to everything in a snap of fingers, a switch of destiny. So you could be someone who comes from nothing, because I'm sensing a lot of humbleness, non-judgmentalness about this group. Someone who's accepting and kind to everyone, because maybe you started, you know, not so well off in your life, and then later on something's going to happen that just switches that. As I see with Yod destiny and the Wheel of Fortune, you have a big destiny is what I'm seeing, and I see that switching one day. And I see that one thing people admire about you is your humbleness, is the fact that you never you never try to act like a leader, you never try to rub anything in anyone's faces. Your authenticity, your genuineness, your pureness is why you don't have anyone jealous of you, and is why no one can really hate you. And just the natural quality you have without trying so hard is what draws people, especially women, to admire you. And I'm also seeing too with learning, something that people really admire about you is you seem to be someone who's always learning something new. Even if you're bad at it, as I can see with resistance, you're always learning something new and trying to develop and grow yourself. And that's something that is like really admirable, because I'm almost hearing that some people go, I wish I could do that. I don't know why they're so talented at all these different things. I wish I was as smart. They seem to know a little bit about everything. That's something I really see about you, is you're always wanting to learn and develop yourself, and people see that. And I'm also seeing there's a lot of emphasis on a hand holding plants, or like hand symbolism. Some of you could have really pretty hands. That's something that people could say about you, like, oh, their hands are just so pretty. Or I'm also seeing as well, because when I see the wheat and the trees in the hands, this is telling me that some of you might have a green thumb. Some of you, you know, you might be someone who later on is really good at cooking, that people are really jealous of and admires of, or gardening or something like that. So let's go ahead and see who secretly admires you. So I did pick up on a male and female energy, because like I said, there are at least 3 to 6 people who admire you. But what I'm seeing too with the male, the woman, and the moon is there's definitely a secret admirer going on. So like I said, it could be someone from the past that you grew up with, or in your family, someone you knew as a child or in the past. But I'm also sensing they could be a secret admirer, whether they're a woman or a man, depending on what you're into. So I do have some clues about who these people are. So the first thing I have, and keep in mind this is a general reading, so it could be one of these people or all of these people. It could either be a past friend, male or female, or someone in your family, or it could be a secret admirer. But I do see with the friend or secret admirer, they're likely someone who ghosted you, or there's like a long distance back and forth. Maybe this is someone who disappeared from your life, or someone who lives a distance from you and you haven't been in contact with for a while, I'm seeing that their message to you, group number 1, is I am building up my courage to admit my feelings for you. So this definitely feels like a secret admirer in a romantic sense, group number 1, who currently has feelings for you. We also have I stalk your social media frequently, look at pictures of you or ask around about you. And this is kind of like with the moon, it's hidden energy. Also with ghosting and ghosted, it's very hidden. So I definitely feel like somebody definitely is keeping their feelings for you under wraps, because I feel like they're working up the courage to tell you. And this could honestly be a female too, or a woman who just likes to look at your social media secretly because they admire you. And then I also have you are my best friend. I have so much fun with you. So like I said, this could also be a current friend right now. And then the last scenario we have, because keep in mind this is a general reading, guys, is I'm not into them, I'm into you. I want only you. So for some select few of you, group number 1, your secret admirer could already be with someone else, and that is why they're hiding feelings for you. But they really want you and they're checking up on you despite what that third party might think. But this is a general reading, keep that in mind. So some signs I have for who this person could be is I do have the sun. So they could be a Leo, sun, moon, and rising. They could be a Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. They could be a Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. All right. And once again, we have very hidden energy right here, which I think is very interesting. And then also we have Mars and North Node, so they could have this conjunction in their chart, or you could have it in their chart. But honestly, what I was seeing from this is just people really respect and admire, like I said, the fact that you have a strong, powerful energy that just screams, one day I'm gonna make it. So, that's all I have for you, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye. All right, group number 2. For those of you who picked the selenite wand right here, let's see what your message is. So we're going to go ahead and figure that out. Once again, group number 2, for those of you who picked the selenite wand. So immediately what I'm seeing, group number 2, about you is that you kind of go against the norm of what's expected out of you. And I see that because I have the Fool, and she has like green hair. And then I also have, this woman with blue hair. It doesn't matter your gender. I'm just looking at the images. And we also have the Monk, who has a shaved head. And we also have soul song and artistic expression with the Ace of Cups and throat chakra. And it's just funny because when I look at this, it's almost like I can see the outsiders in your spread. We have these two people right here who are very dull in comparison to the bright colors, the dyed hair, the different eyeshadows. I can see the outsiders in your spread physically. So group number 2, I really feel like there's a way that you express yourself that is completely against the normal way or what is expected of you. So just as an example, because this is a general reading, I kind of feel as though you might have colored hair, or you might do your makeup very crazily, or you might have a very unique way of dressing or expressing yourself that goes against what your peers expect out of you, or what society expects out of you, and it's very different. And I'm just seeing, group number 2, you have the boldness to kind of express yourself how you want physically, with your outward appearance, whether it's you just dress different than the people around you, or you have a very quirky way of expressing yourself, whether it's dyed hair or crazy theatrical makeup, or just you go against the grain essentially. And what I'm seeing, group number 2, is that because of that, I see you get unfairly judged by other people. I see it with the Justice card right here, and I also see it with these people giving a judgmental look over here. It's almost like people judge you because of the way that you look. And what's funny in group number 2 is I actually feel like you make looking like a misfit look really cool. And I feel like people will either love your style or the way you look, or they will judge you for it. It's essentially what I'm seeing. But I'm seeing that these people, the reason why they judge you is because in their small perception of reality, they cannot fathom you because you are so unapologetically authentic about who you are, and you don't like to conform to what other people expect out of you. And group number 2, whether it's tattoos, dyed hair, or you just dress different than your peers, you do express yourself in a very authentic, different, quirky is what I'm hearing way. And a lot of people, they either love it and they secretly want to have the guts to do it, or they just don't understand how you can be so rebellious against not caring what people think about your looks. They don't understand how you can go ahead and pull that off, that they judge you because their perception is just so small. So you know what I'm seeing, group number 2, honestly, is I really feel like you guys are very spiritual people, as I see with spiritual awakening, and I'm going to get into that for a second. But one thing I see about you, group number 2, is you're definitely different, authentic, quirky. You might have, you might be like not like the other girls or the weird girl, or you might be someone who kind of is like Stargirl from Jerry Spinelli's Stargirl. Oh my gosh, I think this is my pile. No, I'm just kidding. But I do see that people do frequently make comments about your fashion choices and the fact that you just look different. Now, another thing I'm seeing is there's a lot of beautiful tan skin that was really accentuated to me in this spread. We have it here, we have it here, we have it here, here, here. So group number 2, one thing people might be very jealous of you about is the fact that you might look exotic. Like people might not be able to figure out where exactly it is that you're from. You might be mixed race, or you might just have a very exotic, different kind of attractiveness or outward appearance that people are jealous of and they talk about because they're always wondering, where are they from? Or they might be jealous of your skin tone because it's like that perfect brown tan skin. Or maybe if it's not that, this is a general reading, you just look exotic in the way that you look. Maybe, like I said, you're mixed race, or maybe you just have that different exotic look. There's something about your physical appearance essentially that draws people's attention towards you because it is different, it is exotic, and it's definitely not something you see very often. And I do see this as something people right away notice and talk about, your fashion choices or where you're from or something like that. I'm also seeing group number 2, please excuse the dog guys, that you do live life kind of against the mainstream. And the reason why I see this is void of course moon missing, and also I see it with the Fool. So this definitely tells me a lot of you might have a job that is different than what is expected of you. You might have a very different or quirky job. Maybe you have a hard time keeping a job, or you're kind of a mess. Maybe you're always running late. Maybe you're always disorganized, or there's something about your lifestyle that definitely goes against the grain that people talk about. And I feel like there's a sense of freedom to you, group number 2, that most people don't have, because most people are so held up in their own prison of what's expected of them, what people think. But I feel like group number 2, you do not have that prison. You kind of have that, this kind of looks like a middle finger to me. Like you don't really care. You're going to do what you feel is right, even if it goes completely against the mainstream or what people expect of you. But I do sense a definite like quirkiness. I definitely sense kind of a rebel in their own right. I do sense someone who might be messy or misses appointments, especially when they were younger, or rebelled. I'm also sensing someone who could just be kind of quirky, a mess, you know, like not like the other girls, not making fun of you guys, but that's like the best metaphor I can think of, even if you're a guy. I also see that you guys are very spiritually in tune, and I see this because we have the Ace of Cups, we have Soul Song, and we also have Selenite, Spiritual Awakening, and we also have the Monk. So this tells me, group number 2, despite your quirkiness, you're also somebody who is very into spirituality or very naturally connected to spirituality. And I was also hearing for some of you, group number 2, the words you speak actually trigger other people's spiritual awakening or makes them aware of their own spirituality, and you actually inspire people towards their own authenticity and also finding spirituality. So your authenticity actually inspires the people around you to have the bravery to be authentic. And I'm also seeing that a lot of the words you speak trigger people's spiritual awakening or make them aware of spirituality in a way that changes their lives in a big way. I'm also seeing as well, group number 2, that I don't know if I already said crazy makeup, but for the women out there, I really feel like you do your makeup, your hair, tattoos, piercings, something quirky about that. But anyway, another thing I'm seeing, group number 2, this is a general reading. I'm going to get a lot of messages. I do see, group number 2, that some of you might have a talent for singing, or you might have a talent of some sort of musical instrument, because I do have the mastery card right here and she's holding a instrument. So I feel like some of you have mastered some sort of talent. And I do want to say that it's either a spiritual talent, because we do have, you know, the monk looking off at the stars, or, you know, selenite is also a cleansing mineral. So it could be you're a healer, or something to do with spirituality or channeling messages, or tarot, psychic, spirituality, talent, astrologer. But I'm also sensing, group number 2, for a lot of you, people really admire your speaking ability or your musical ability, because we also have throat chakra and soul song. So the things that I was hearing is some of you could share your poetry, your lyrics, your writing. Some of you could even be singers or writers, or be very proficient in a musical instrument. And I also see that with the colors floating out of her mouth. And that's something that people are really jealous of. They're like, are they naturally good at that? Like, how are they so good at that? Like, you have some sort of creative ability, I'm hearing, that is very unique, even if you don't see it, that other people are in awe of, even if they don't say it. Because a lot of the times, talented people actually don't get complimented, because people think they get complimented all the time. But group number 2, I want you to know, I really feel like it's singing or songwriting or an instrument. You have played that or done that or shared your writing with somebody else, and they have been jealous and wondered if it was natural, or how long it took to learn. They're really in awe of that talent. And I'm also hearing for some of you, group number 2, if it's not that, you might have a natural counseling ability or spiritual insight. Maybe you're a tarot reader, or maybe you're even a public speaker. But there's something about your voice that is very inspiring, that's very different. Maybe an ASMR artist, or maybe you have a dark and sultry voice, or maybe you're someone who's a naturally good speaker, very charismatic with your words. And these are all things about yourself that you might not even notice, but people around you definitely notice, and they're like, wow, I don't know how they're so good with their words. How are they channeling all these messages, or how does their voice naturally sound like that, their sound quality, or how are they so good at that instrument? These are all things you might not even notice about yourself, because you might be comparing yourself to other people, right? Because we do have the Justice card and the Libra card and the Mirror card. But I want you to know, group number 2, people are really jealous of some sort of natural spiritual talent or artistic talent, writing talent, or the sound quality of your voice that demands attention, that's charismatic, that is different. Maybe it's sultry or just charismatic, attention grabbing, ASMR. You have a voice people are very jealous of, and an obvious connection to spirit. And you're just someone who just seems to actually channel spirit into whatever it is they do. And you make it look easy, even though it probably wasn't, because what I see from the Mastery card is it likely took you a lot of practice and dedication. So that's the funny thing about you, group number 2, is I see that you are not dedicated to things you do not want to be dedicated towards. So like appointments, missing jobs, missing things, being unorganized, being messy. This was probably you when you were younger or now. It's very easy for you to slide out of those responsibilities, but when you find your passion, you will master it. And that's because you, group number 2, you go with your heart and what you feel like, right? And because you do that, people just see you as a rebel, but really you're just living in your authentic truth, and that's something very beautiful about you. Oh yeah, group number 2, I also want to tell you, I feel like recently you have went through some huge metamorphosis in your life. I definitely feel that way. I feel it with the spiritual awakening and surrender and void of course moon. I feel like group number 2 that recently you have really leveled up as a person, whether it's your aura and vibe has changed because you went through another spiritual awakening, because we don't just have one, we have numerous spiritual awakenings throughout our lives. So just because you just had one doesn't mean you weren't awoken before. It just means that you're at the next stage. And I feel like recently, group number 2, you've had a soul metamorphosis where you are really starting to be more in alignment with your higher self, whether it was triggered by something or whether it was just you randomly just started transforming as a person is honestly what I'm seeing. And it's been so obvious to other people that I'm also hearing group number 2. A lot of people have been talking about how much you have transformed for the better. Recently, especially, I do see that. I'm seeing that a lot of people have noticed your transformation that's happened really on the inside to your whole vibration and aura. And people have been talking about, wow, I can't believe how much they've transformed as a person. They're really in awe. And one of the positive things they say about you, group number 2, is that you have changed and grown so much through this spiritual awakening. And it's so obvious and so apparent that people are actually talking about how much you have changed, and they are impressed by you to the point where they're starting to pay attention to you because they're like, wow, there's been such a major shift in their energy and who they are into a more positive energy, into more of what's in alignment with their higher selves, that people are actually noticing you and taking a second glance and actually listening to what you have to say, because you know, you've changed so much in a positive way. So let's see who secretly admires you and why. So one thing I'm seeing for you, group number 2, is I definitely feel like a friend, definitely with the dove and the cup, the Ace of Cups over there. I definitely feel like a friend who is no longer in your life definitely wants to ask for forgiveness. It might have been a friend you had a falling out with, or a friend who maybe there was like, you know, maybe you guys just haven't talked in a while, but I definitely sense a friend coming through. And group number 2, keep in mind, it could be one of these people or all of them. It's a general reading, so listen with your intuition. But I'm seeing that one of the people who secretly admires you is definitely an old friend who wants forgiveness. And I'm seeing that they regret and are remorseful. I'm sorry, I messed up, guilt, past, thinking about you. And I definitely feel like they want to reach out to you and offer you that olive branch. We also have, I feel ignored and rejected by you. So this friend, since you've been going through your spiritual awakening, you could have kind of like not really been messaging them back and forth because you've been really focused on yourself and your internal healing. And I feel like there's definitely just some sort of friend who wants to come back into your life. I also see too that one of the people who secretly admires you is definitely with the ring, with the boat, with the fox, is likely someone you ran away from commitment from. And what I mean by this, group number 2, is another thing I'm picking up about you is you are a free spirit. So maybe commitment is really hard, because I feel like that energy of you don't want to be tied down. I'm getting that energy of somebody who you might like the idea of love and commitment, but when it comes down to being committed, you want to run as fast as possible because you're the flighty, manic, free spirit, right? Group number 2. And I'm just sort of seeing that it's very likely someone you ran away from in the past, you ran away from commitment from, is thinking about you. And I feel like they're looking at you as the one who got away, or maybe they just sort of see the transformation you've been through recently, and now they want to come back for a second chance. And I actually think that's why a lot of people, like friendships or old romantic people, want to come back. It's because they've seen your growth and evolution. But if not that, I do see group number 2, it could be someone that they ran away from a commitment with you, and now they want to come back and they're remorseful and they want to ask for forgiveness. And that's because you have went through this giant glow up recently that's very hard to miss. Yeah, I definitely feel like you or someone else grew out of this connection, whether it was romantic or friendship wise or something, but I do feel with divine timing and you are ready to date and love. I do feel like Spirit is saying that there is a divine connection in your life, someone you were meant to be with, a big time soulmate. For some of you, you could already know them. It could be one of these people, but for others of you, it won't happen till the future, but I'm seeing it's going to happen very soon, because I see with I am trustful in my relationships that a lot of you, I feel like the reason why you run away from connection with people, or maybe you ignore people, is because you're scared of getting close. That might be why you run away from commitment or messaging people back, because deep down you are scared of trusting anyone. So you run away from connection before they have a chance to run away from you or hurt you or reject you, because maybe when you were younger you experienced rejection due to your very obvious uniqueness. But yeah, I definitely see you can be very avoidant of people, especially if they get clingy, or you just kind of avoid people because you like to focus on your inner world. But I do sense that Spirit is saying you're ready to date and love again, and it's divine timing. So maybe you're meant to get back together with someone, or maybe there's someone coming in the future, but I do see a big time soulmate in your life. And I do have some signs and also channeled messages from some of these people. So I feel like we have a spiritual bond, possibly past lives together. I feel like this could be a friend, or it could be the person from your past you dated. We also have, we could be a power couple. We make sense and that appeals to me. We also have, I have never felt this way before about anyone else. I think you may be the one. And we also have purpose. So one thing I'm picking up, group number 2, is, remember how I said you guys were very talented, very proficient at something, and it's very apparent because you have the mastery card. I feel like your soulmate is someone who is likely going to share the same purpose as you. So let's say you're a writer. I feel like they might work in the writing or publishing field. Let's say you are a musician. I feel like they're going to be a musician or work in the music industry too. Let's say you are a psychic reader. They could be into spirituality and be a yoga trainer. Do you see what I mean? I feel like group number 2, and this is a message I've been getting a lot recently, and I feel like it's because Jupiter, Pluto, bringing in those divine matches with a higher purpose. We're not going to call them twin flames because of, you know, just the label has a bad rep, thanks to me, you know. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, just someone you are meant to have a purpose with, that's a romantic connection with. And I feel like group number 2, whoever that is in your life, whenever you're ready, I do feel like they are going to share that same soul song, whether it's your musical interest, your writing interest, your speaking interest, your spiritual interest. I really do feel like this person coming in, this divine timing, is somebody where they will share that same purpose, and that's how you're going to know they're there. And that's so funny because this is like totally not a romance reading, but here I go going off on that. But anyway, so some signs I have for you guys is they could be a Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. They could be a Venus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Oh my God. A Libra or Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Or they could have Venus in Cancer. We already got Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, a Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, or a Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Or they could have Venus in Cancer, Libra, Taurus, or Pisces. So that's all I have for you. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you later, guys. Bye. All right, group number 3, for those of you who picked the clear quartz point, this one right here, let's go ahead and see why people admire you, why people are jealous of you, and who admires you and who is jealous of you. So once again, it is group number 3, the clear quartz point. Let's go ahead and see what Spirit has to say. So firstly, what I'm picking up for you guys, group number 3, is people either love you or hate you. And the reason why this is because you do have a very powerful energy, as I can see with the Spider Woman and also the Will. And as you can see here, she's dressed like a queen. And then on top of that, we also have powerful cards such as the Death card, okay? And we also have the Crown Chakra. So this really makes me feel, just looking at this, that you guys do have really powerful, bold energy, and you're very unapologetic about it. Now, because of this, sometimes you do get a lot of hate. And the reason why you get this hate is because I really do feel like you speak your truth, as I can see with the Sword of Truth that says let go, and also I live in truth, and also just this powerful energy. This really shows me that a lot of you guys, you're kind of bold with your speech. You say what you mean, you're very blunt, you don't really care, you're not apologetic about yourself, and you have a very bold, intense, powerful energy. And unfortunately, a lot of the times when we have that energy, a lot of people can get very intimidated, especially if they're beta in energy. This also means too that I feel like your intensity is a lot. So sometimes people might walk away, as I see with the 10 of Wands, because they feel like you are just too intense of a person. I'm sort of seeing someone, group number 3, you might not have a lot of friends, you might be a lone wolf. I'm sensing somebody who because you're so powerful, because you have that alpha energy, it really does intimidate a lot of people and make a lot of women, specifically I'm hearing, be very intimidated of you, especially if you're a woman yourself. I'm sensing relationships with women tend to be a lot of trouble for you, and that is because a lot of the times women get intimidated by your very strong, forthright energy. And just in general, people, like, nowadays we get offended over everything. I mean, it's good that we have awareness and PC, and I totally agree with that. But I mean, come on guys, at the end of the day, people just literally get offended over everything nowadays. And I feel like group number 3, because of that, you know, because you're not very filtered with your words, because you're very unapologetic about yourself and your opinions, this really does, you know, tend to push a lot of people away because they're not used to someone being so bold and unapologetic. And I'm also hearing as well with the 10 of Wands, some of you, group number 3, who have dated, I'm sensing that a lot of people have called you high maintenance in relationships. So you either have those kind of like cucks, is that what the kids call them nowadays? You either have some of these cucks who will literally do anything, bend over backwards for you because of your powerful energy, or, you know, a lot of people might date you and walk away because they say that you're too high maintenance. I'm seeing group number 3 that you are kind of high maintenance, and that's why people are jealous of you, honestly, because one thing I'm seeing with the second house owning and like the queenly attire is maybe you're someone who dresses rich, or maybe you're someone who seems to have a lot of money, or maybe you're someone who was born into money, or maybe you're just someone who's worked really hard and now you're well off and you have a lot of things. But I'm just sort of sensing, group number 3, people are jealous of you because you do seem like you're someone who's very well off. You dress richly, even if you're not rich. It's just the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, what you post online maybe. There's just something about you that looks very royal and regal, because we also have the crown chakra on that side right there, and the crown chakra is purple. Purple and red used to only be worn by royalty, so this is really giving me the sense that people are jealous of your possessions and your money, or because you look rich, or because you look like you have everything together. There's a boldness about this that people are really intimidated and jealous by, so they might actually hate on you because secretly they wish that they had, 1, as much power, or 2, the riches that you supposedly have. I'm also seeing group number 3, you might be someone who's very bold about their sexuality, or you might be someone who, you know, this kind of makes me feel like this pile, group number 3, someone who's in a relationship wouldn't want their significant other around you because you're very unapologetic and you'll sort of just go after whoever, or you just have a very naturally seductive, maybe you're Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun, moon, and rising. There's something very like magnetically attractive about you physically. Maybe it's just your aura, and a lot of the times a lot of confident, successful people will have a lot of sex appeal or sexual energy or a lot of powerful energy, and that's why people why a lot of people in this world become successful is because of that energy. You kind of have that boss bitch energy, and you just seem like you have everything. And I'm sensing that a lot of people are very physically attracted to you, like your body, or maybe it's just like you have a seductive manner, but like people really, I'm sensing, think about you sexually a lot, which I'm going to get into and explain that. But anyway, because of that, people who are in relationships might not like you because you might they might see you as someone who might steal their man or woman. That's kind of how I feel about it, group number 3. I'm also seeing too, one thing that's really attractive about you is you don't show all your cards, because I'm sensing someone who's highly intelligent. You're always 10 steps ahead of everyone else, as I can see with the crown chakra and let go, the sword, which talks about mental abilities. You guys are very skilled in the art of war, and you're also someone who's very intelligent. And because of that, you don't show all your cards. One thing that was really standing out to me is you do have the mask on in 2 of these cards. So this is really telling me a lot of you have war paint on. So maybe you like to literally do your makeup in a very intimidating, sexy way. Maybe you like to wear lots of makeup, or you just know how to put on a brave, tough face, even if you don't feel very brave, as a way to protect yourself. Because as I see with the moon and the death card, a lot of you are actually very sensitive, very connected. A lot of you feel things on a very deep level, but because of that, you've learned that you have to be hard, you have to be tough, you have to put on a tough facade, you have to put on that war paint, because in the past you've been burned, and because you cared so much, it's hurt you, that you put on this powerful, tough persona so nobody can ever hurt you or make you feel inferior again. And that's what I see about you, group number 3. And I'm also sensing as well, group number 3, I do feel like what's really attractive about you is that you do come off as very mysterious. I keep getting Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising, maybe Pluto in the ascendant, maybe Pluto, Scorpio, Pluto, midheaven. There's something very mysterious and darker about you. I feel like, you know, you might be spiritual, because I am sensing a natural spiritual connection with the moon and the death card. You might have 8th house placements, like planets in your 8th house, but I just really feel as though that there's something very mysterious and darker about you. So let's say you're into spirituality. You're not someone who's like peace, love, rock and roll, flower child kind of spirituality. You're more like dark. I'm gonna wear dark clothes. I don't give an F. Like, you might be someone who curses. You're not going to be like fake and flowery. You're gonna be your powerful self, even though you might be into spirituality. And I'm also sensing too, group number 3, you might be someone who enjoys antagonizing people even, or you might be someone who's not afraid of confrontation, is what I'm seeing, honestly. You just have a very powerful energy, and I do feel like a lot of you, group number 3, you do push people away in a way to protect yourself. I really don't feel like the person you put out to other people is who you really are, honestly. A lot of people might have issues with you, or feel like you are their nemesis. Remember, because people either love or hate you. They're either really attracted to that power and that darkness and that sexuality, or they're intimidated by it and run away. But I just sense, group number 3, you have some powerful freaking energy. Maybe you have Lilith on the ascendant or something like that. But I'm also sensing, group number 3, one thing about you is that you, when you speak, it is very influential and it changes people's lives for a long time. Your words have a lot of power. So maybe, you know, you could use this for good or evil, is kind of what I'm seeing. So either you could cut someone down and you're so good at roasting people that they live with that forever because you're intelligent. You're more intelligent than the average person. Maybe you have dark humor, but you really know how to cut someone with your words, and you know how to find people's weakness and really use it against them in an evil way. I'm not going to lie to you. But for some of you, group number 3, for some of you who have evolved and grown on your journey, I'm seeing actually someone who is a very harsh, strict spiritual teacher, or just a teacher in general, who, because you're so harsh and strict with your advice or just telling people the right way due to your own experience and you don't sugarcoat, this actually changes people's lives for the better because it's the tough love that they need, group number 3. And that's kind of what I'm seeing that you do for people, and people actually really like that. So group number 3, one thing that I am seeing though is I do feel like a lot of people think I advance through my own abilities and I live in truth. It's kind of an oxymoron because you do have this mask on in these cards, so it's kind of making me feel like other people, because they're jealous of what you have or what you've accomplished, or they might like to say, oh, they only made it because of this, or oh, they only got that raise because of this, because they want to discredit your own power and authority. So they might say that you use people to get to the top, or something of that nature. But I'm really sensing that that's just a way to discrown you and discredit you, because you do have king queen energy and you do have like a darker aura. And it doesn't mean you're a dark person. It just means that you're embracing your dark side, your shadow side, and your sexuality. And this is what makes you powerful, because in order to be successful in life, you have to embrace that dark side and sexuality, actually, with that natural charisma is what I'm seeing. Some of you might like to wear dark clothes or have a gothic style, or you might just have like a bad bitch style, and I'm seeing those are all things people actually really admire about you. And I'm also sensing too, group number 3, at one point you were probably burned or hurt really bad by somebody, but this burn or this person who has hurt you has actually made you a lot stronger is what I'm seeing. I just see that, guys, you've been through a lot in your life. They didn't see, like, because you have that king queen energy, most people didn't see how you got to where you did, but I feel like it's from a lot of struggle and a lot of emotional hurt. So one thing I'm seeing is one person who secretly admires you and thinks about you and is jealous of you is likely somebody who has hurt you and walked away in the past. And I'm sensing that it is romantic, or it could be a father figure or a parental figure is honestly what I'm seeing. So let's go see what else we have. So remember, guys, this is a general reading. So it could be all of them, or it could be one of the people. Listen with your intuition. So one thing I'm seeing, let's channel some messages from your secret admirer. So one thing I picked up, group number 3, is I actually picked up for a lot of you, your soulmate in the future. Group number 3. I feel like some of you, their higher selves came through and they wanted to give you a message. So for those of you who are single and have not met your soulmate, I do want to let you know that a future soulmate has come through, their higher self has channeled. So we're going to read those messages. And I also have letter, tower, and child. So, okay. So what I'm getting, group number 3, is one of your secret admirers or people who secretly are jealous of you could be people who are from a different country. You might be someone who's constantly surrounded by, or they could just be a different ethnic background or from a different country than you currently live. That's one person I'm picking up. One person, like I said, I'm picking up is a parental figure or someone who's hurt you and walked away. They hurt you really bad. That's another thing I'm picking up. And I'm also sensing too, for a lot of you, group number 3, there's somebody who's definitely watching you on social media right now and considering sending you a message. And with the child, I do feel like it's someone younger than you, or this could be someone that you view as childish, or someone you view as selfish or beneath you, or something like that. So I also got the channeled messages of your soulmate is in the future. You will receive an offer of love, which I feel like has something to do with this childish person who's been watching you, who wants to send you a message. They want to work whatever this is out. So I feel like you guys, no offense, I think you guys get in a lot of drama, just to be real with you. And I feel like whoever this is, they've been watching you, they want to send a message to you. They might be younger, more immature, but they want to work it out with you. And then this is the channeled messages that I got from these people. I'm talking to multiple different people and keeping my options open. So that's another thing I feel about you, group number 3, is I do feel like the people you attract romantically tend to be very much into your body. You might be someone where you've noticed that, you know, hit it and quit it, or one night stands or something. I feel like group number 3, you attract a lot of admirers of your sexuality and your body, or, you know, people who are not really in for a commitment. That's one thing I'm seeing, and that's one of your admirers who always wants to check up on you, keep tabs. I'm getting narcissist vibes. I also have, I feel like you weren't there for me when I needed you. So I do feel like it's this friend or someone from your past who you view as childish, who feels that way. They want to work it out, but they are still mad because they feel like you weren't there for them. And I also have, you are my ideal match. You are everything I could ever want in a person. And then we also have, I want to become closer with you and get to know you more. Okay, so yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of people are intimidated by you, but because you're so mysterious, they want to reach out and message you, but they're scared to because you kind of make them feel like a child because you're so intimidating. Now, your future soulmate, group number 3, I do feel like they're likely someone from, for those of you who are single, from a different country, or they could be some sort of teacher. And I'm getting a lot of teacher references, actually. I got Sagittarius 9th house teacher. So for some of you, group number 3, you could be a teacher and one of your students could actually have a secret crush on you where it's forbidden, or admire you secretly, or just in general, your students could really admire you, or the people who learn from you. But I'm also seeing that your soulmate in the future, group number 3, is likely going to be someone from a different country, or they could be something to do with travel or teaching or religion, anything to do with Sagittarius 9th house. So travel, teaching, religion, government, law, spirituality, anything like that. And these are the signs that I have for the people who could secretly admire you. So we have Mercury. So they could be a Gemini or a Virgo. They could also be a Capricorn, or they could be a Taurus. And because I have 2 multiple letters, I do feel like one of the people could be who you're talking to now long distance, who secretly admires you. And for others of you, for those of you who are waiting to hear from somebody, whether it's a friend or romantic interest, I do feel like they're going to reach out very soon. They've been watching you. They're just waiting for the right time. They're waiting to work up the courage. And I definitely feel like they miss you and they want to extend an olive branch to you. So that's all I have for you, group number 3. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye. All right, for those of you who picked group number 4 with this pretty raw rock with the white crystals inside, I don't know what this is called, but if you guys want to tell me, feel free to do so in the comments section. But group number 4, let's go ahead and see why people are jealous of you and why people admire you and who secretly is jealous or admires you. So the first thing that I'm seeing, group number 4, is that I definitely feel there's a lot of 1 energy. So right here we have 28. In numerology, we always add it together. 2 plus 8 is 1. Then we have the 1 right here. 1 plus 9 in numerology is 10. We reduce it to 1, so there's another 1 right there. Then we also have remembrance, which has the number 11 on it. So we have a bunch of 1 energy, group number 4. So I definitely feel like you could be a life path, soul urge, destiny 1. Now, if not, what this is also telling me, because I just throw those in to help with intuition, guys, it doesn't really matter. But what this is also telling me, guys, is you are a natural trendsetter, and that's why people are jealous of you. Because one thing I'm seeing is you are a trailblazer. You do something and then other people want to copy you. And the reason why I'm feeling this way is because we have Hecate, right? And then we have these 2 energies right here. It's almost like people see what you're doing and then they want to imitate you and literally copy what it is you did first. And what's funny about this, group number 4, is I really feel, for all of you, it's not the case. Obviously, this is a general reading. For some of you, you could just be naturally really pretty, and because of that, I'm seeing that you could receive, you could deal with a lot of people who are nice to your face, is what I'm seeing, and then behind your back they might be talking down about you because they're jealous, and you make them feel insecure about themselves. Because I do feel like a lot of you, group number 4, are naturally very beautiful, or you have, if not that, your energy or something about you is just naturally flawless. There's something, maybe you have perfect skin, or maybe you're just somebody who, you know, like, and I know a lot of you guys are saying I'm ugly. I was voted the most ugly. I saw that comment, by the way. but it's not just about looks. Like, people's energy can just be so beautiful, right? You could just have like that wifey energy, or you could just have some sort of like energy that makes you very attractive, and people, there's something about you that people just get very jealous of. But I do feel like for a lot of you, it's likely some sort of blessed natural beauty. It could be your hair. For some of you, I'm seeing like the hair, or it could just be good bone structure, good skin. Something about you guys is what I'm seeing. Or maybe it's just confidence, honestly. And that confidence, because you project so much confidence, it really makes you look that much more attractive. But anyway, what the case is, group number 4, is I do sense that a lot of people are nice to your face, and then I do sense they talk bad about you behind their back, not because they don't like you, but because you make them feel very insecure about themselves. And it's just like, it's a them problem is essentially what I'm seeing. And that's just, I'm sorry, but that's definitely what I'm seeing. And also because you are a trendsetter, because we have conception that really shows your energy right here, conception. So this really shows me, guys, that a lot of you, you definitely, set the trends. Like, you'll start doing something one way, and then other people will be like, wow, that's really good, and they'll copy you. And that might be something that you've noticed throughout your life. You don't follow anyone else's trends, you follow your own, and then unknowingly you have a bunch of you clones, is what I'm seeing, whether or not you realize it. But I do sense, group number 4, what's interesting is you might be someone who seems like they have it all together, where people are like, gosh, he or she's so perfect. And they might like talk bad to make themselves feel better. But the irony is, group number 4, with the dark moon and the void, this is really telling me that a lot of you have went through dark night of the soul in your life, where other people might perceive you as perfect, or having everything together, or being stereotypically pretty, or just like people might just view you as like, oh, they just have it all together. They're so not relatable. They're just so out of reach. They could not understand what it's like to be a normal person, and they talk bad about you. But I'm seeing what they don't see about you is that you feel very lonely. I see with the void, you've went through dark night of the soul. You've been to the pits of life. Inside, maybe you might be suffering because you feel like everybody else thinks you're untouchable or unattainable, or everybody else might feel like you're not relatable, even though deep down you are. You just hide that part of yourself because you don't want to bring anyone down. And also, you have a lot of pride when it comes to making sure you appear strong. So I see, group number 4, because of that, people don't think you're relatable. You might feel lonely because of that, because we have a lot of one energy. And I'm also sensing that underneath the facade, or the perfect facade, or what other perceive as perfect in you, or even though other people want to be you, what they're not seeing is this dark night of the soul you are constantly going through, where you do feel alone, or you're dealing with a lot of darkness in your life that a lot of people do not know about. And I feel like, group number 4, the more you share that side of yourself, I mean, if you want to, don't let people pressure you to do anything you don't want to, the more you're going to notice people soften their hearts to you. But I definitely see a lot of two-facedness in your life, just because they like you, but they don't want to like you because you make them feel bad about themselves, essentially, by existing. I also see, group number 4, one thing about you is that with remembrance, I definitely feel like the one over there, I definitely feel like a lot of people feel like you were the one that got away, especially with the 4th house roots. I feel like if you guys have dated around, one thing is that you are always the one that got away, or they always remember you, whether it's friendships or whether it is romantic situations that you've been in. Every time you leave, they always remember you. They cannot get you out of their head. You are normally the one who has gotten away, even if they were the one to mess up the connection. They always look back and they regret it. That's the energy you're in, group number 4. I'm also seeing with the 4th house roots, one thing people really are jealous of over you is either your family, maybe you have a cool family, or it's the way you decorate your house. It's the way your home looks. Maybe you have a really perfect home, or a nice home, or you're really good at decorating or designing, or you're really good at aesthetics or something. People really are jealous over the fact that you know, you're so good at doing that, because most people, a lot of people are not, but you seem to have a good eye for aesthetics is what I'm seeing. And I'm also seeing, if it's not that, a lot of people have been saying that, you know, your family's attractive, your family's really cool, and they might be jealous of your family and just your genetics or something like that. So another thing I see about you as well, group number 4, is I do sense there are 2 admirers you currently have or will in the very near future. So one thing that I'm seeing about this group is with the Page of Wands and the Hierophant. I definitely feel like, first of all, kind of like the third group, I feel like group number 4, you do attract, you just have the energy of someone that a lot of people romanticize in their head. And what I mean by this is when I look at the Conception card on the right hand side, group number 4, it really makes me feel like a lot of people do not really see you clearly. I almost feel with this light, this filter overshadowing her face and then the darkness, that a lot of people will literally make up fantasies about you, or they'll put unrealistic fantasies or expectations of you that have nothing to do with the real you. They'll almost project on you. This kind of makes me feel like, you know, in movies, how there's always the girl who has no personality, no storyline, but she's there to help the lead man, you know, with his coming of age. It's almost like she was just a prop. I kind of feel group number 4, a lot of the times in relationships, people might not really see the new you, and they might project their own fantasies onto you, which I'm so sorry. That seems really lonely. Or you might, you know, be someone who you can literally fit into anybody's fantasy or be whatever, to the point where sometimes when you're in relationships or friendships, you might lose yourself, or you might tone yourself down, or your leadership ability or your uniqueness, because we have that one energy, in order to make everyone happy. Because I kind of feel like you're a peacekeeper as well, group number 4. But in reality, group number 4, your uniqueness, your individuality is what makes you a trendsetter, is what makes you a leader. And this is why you have a lot of people who copy you, are nice to your face, and then talk back behind you, because they're so jealous of you for whatever reason, whether it's your style, your home, the fact that you appear perfect. I feel like people just project a lot on you, group number 4, essentially is what I'm saying. And especially when I see cards such as, hold on for just a second, when I see cards such as the Taurus in the 7th house that popped up, this really makes me feel like a lot of people see you as like the ideal partner, or a lot of people see you as like the perfect partner, regardless of whether or not they know you. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like they look at you, or they're with you, and they just sort of project their fantasies onto you. You're very easy to project onto, which I don't know why. I don't know what your energy is or your birth chart, but it just makes me feel like a lot of guys romanticize you, or a lot of girls romanticize you, just without even really knowing you. They kind of just project their fantasies and wants onto you. But I do sense, group number 4, one thing is a lot of people, as I can see with the star and the garden and the bear, you really do stand out energetically or physically, so that when you're out in public, believe it or not, a lot of people check you out, is what I'm seeing, group number 4. And I feel like without you even knowing it, you start a lot of fights in relationships, because you'll just be going about your daily business, and then, you know, you'll be at the store and some guy's with his girlfriend, and he'll look at you because you're very hard to miss, as I can see with the star and the bear. It's kind of like your energy or your looks are very eye-catching or attention-grabbing, and then all of a sudden he's in trouble with his girlfriend, or vice versa. It doesn't matter the gender. I'm just sort of seeing your energy field, or the way you look, it could be energy or physical, is very eye-catching, where people want to look at you. And I just feel like it's because, you know, there's just something, it's a star quality, or the fact that you have some sort of beauty or energy, whatever it is. People project on you, and they fantasize about you. Even strangers out in public, I'm seeing those are your secret admirers. Everywhere you go, people look at you, and you actually unknowingly start fights in relationships, because you'll get them in trouble with their significant other. And I want you to know that, group number 4. That's the people who really admire you. And I'm also hearing too, your mother, guys. For some of you, this is a general reading. It could be one or all of them. Take what resonates. But with Luna and Virgo, I'm seeing that your mother is someone who's very proud of you. For those of you who have a good relationship or in contact with your mother, I do see that with Luna and Virgo. And their channeled message for you is, remember, it could be one or all. Keep that in mind, guys. I'm proud of you and everything you have achieved in your life. I have immense respect for you. For some of you guys who, you know, your mother is a good person, you just have a rough relationship, I almost feel like you guys are healing a relationship with your mother or getting closer to your mother, or your mother really wants to reach out to you because they're proud of you and they miss you, and it's a good idea to heal that. If your mom's a good person and, you know, you just got in a fight, I do see that, group number 4 for you. I do feel like, okay, hold on for just a second. I do feel like though, this could just be any woman in your life, honestly, any woman in your life. But I'm also hearing too that like I definitely feel like it could be a woman in your family who's really proud of you specifically. I'm also sensing that this could be, so like I was saying, there's 2 energies I'm picking up. I'm picking up one energy of someone who has a crush on you right now. And the messages I have for them are, I think about you sexually all the time. Like I said, you attract a lot of people who are very sexually into you is what I'm seeing with the Page of Wands over there. They could be a Cancer sun, moon, and rising, a Virgo sun, moon, and rising, or a Gemini sun, moon, and rising, or a Taurus sun, moon, and rising, or a Libra sun, moon, and rising. All of these people I'm talking about. But for some of you, I do see an immature, toxic energy who maybe is there for a good time, not a long time, who does secretly admire you. They admire your strength. They admire, and I think they are projecting their fantasies onto you. We also have, I have toxic behaviors and patterns. I will only hurt you until I work on myself. So, okay guys, let me retrack because this is a general reading, so I'm going to get a lot of messages. I do feel like one of the persons who secretly admires you could be an ex from the past who was very immature, had a lot of toxic behaviors. Somebody who could have been a fire sign, so Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, who you might have had a fling with, who was just very, very toxic in your life. I'm also sensing that it could be, like I said, a female in your family who's very proud of all of your achievements. I'm also seeing too, like just you could be dealing with someone toxic right now who could be a Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, or Leo, Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, who is very sexually attracted to you right now that you already know of. That you could have friend zoned, or they could have, you could have a friends with benefits situation with. That's for some of you because this is a general reading, okay? And I do feel like for some of you, you could already be with your soulmate right now, and they're just saying that you're hot. That's what their higher self is saying. So I do see one thing about you guys though, is I do not feel like a relationship will lead to anything serious because there are too many differences, and also there are so many red flags, but all I want and think about is you. I'm crazy about you. I also feel like group number 4, one thing about you, as I can see with the Page of Wands, the Universe, and the Hierophant, is you might also be someone who could be someone who's a little unpredictable, or someone who can be a little you know, you guys can be crazy and get away with it, and people will still want to be with you. That's another thing I see about you, group number 4. For some reason, people are willing to put up with your BS, group number 4. I don't know why, but they are. Could be your looks or just your energy, or you just might seem like their ideal match. I just feel like you do put up a lot of red flags, but people are willing to put up with it for you. For some of you guys, I'm also hearing a sibling could be very proud of you as well. And also I have a lot of red hair symbolism. I had it here, here, here. I had it somewhere else too. So for some of you, it could be your beautiful red hair people admire, or the person, one of these people could have red hair, and this could be confirmation that we are on the right track. So let's see if that's everything that I have. I think that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, so for those of you who picked the stone, the quartz with the swirl, the copper swirl. This is going to be your reading. So it's actually interesting you guys picked this, because when I look at this, this was the most unique one, the most handcrafted, handmade one out of all of them. The most like funky. It's just very earthy, very quirky, very arts and craftsy. It's unique, it's stylish. I feel like group number 5, one thing about you is you, like the energy I was picking up is you are able to make things that aren't very expensive look trendy and fashionable. That's one of the big things I saw. So you might be someone who likes to thrift, or you might make your own clothes, or you might just be able to spot a good deal and then people will compliment you on it and say you look like $1,000,000. But group number 5, I really sense you have the ability of taking old used things or taking inexpensive things and making them in a way where it looks really stylish, really trendy for half of the price. That's what I see, group number 5, about you. You make thrifting look good. You make used vintage items look good. You can find deals that people wouldn't believe. And that's a part of why people really, really admire you. And actually, group number 5, I do not sense, like the first group, that a lot of people are very jealous of you. And it's not because there's nothing to be jealous of you for. I want to highlight that. It's because you're so humble, so pure, so you have this energy about you where it's hard for people to be jealous of you because you radiate light. And what I mean by this, group number 5, is that no matter how old you are, even when you're older, or maybe if you're older now, I'm sensing with the solar plexus chakra and Bridget, creative spark, that you will always act younger than your age and you will always feel younger than your age. So when you're 40, you might hang out with 30-year-olds or 20-year-olds because you're going to have that energy that the younger people do, or you're going to have that same mindset. You're never going to be someone who's that cranky old lady or that cranky old man. You're always going to be someone who's always down for an adventure, who has that childlike spirit. And that doesn't mean you're naive or foolish. In fact, people are very much mistaken if they think that about you, because you prefer to have a lighthearted, childlike nature, and you prefer to be sunshine, and you prefer to be happy. Some people might mistake that as you being naive, but that is not the case at all, because when I see resilience in the Tower, this is telling me you guys have went through some SHIT in your life. Something happened in your life where your whole foundations fell down. This could have been a divorce, a breaking up of the family, something in your life really traumatic has happened to you. You're an old soul, as I see with resilience and the 9 of Wands. You had to have a lot of maybe you were a single mother. Maybe your family was really poor. Maybe something traumatic happened to you growing up, where you had to grow up really fast. Maybe life's been really difficult. You don't let that show. You will always go at things with such a childlike joy, with such energy and lightness, despite what you've been through, that it's very hard for people to be jealous of you, because those things that happen in your life have made you very humble. It's made you very hardworking, and it's also shown you the importance of laughing and having fun and acting joyful, because you know what it's like to hit utter misery, despair, and you know what it's like to struggle. And you know dwelling on it and being a big baby about it is not going to solve anything. So instead, you put that load on your back, you put on a smile, you go at things with such sunshine and positivity that it's so hard for people to be jealous of you, because they respect that about you. You have respect, group number 5. I'm seeing that some of you might be mothers, is honestly what I'm picking up. Your kids really respect you. That was one of the first things I saw. If you have kids, your kids really respect you and look up to you, because maybe you were a single mother, or they see how hard you work or how much you do. I want you to know your kids really respect you. But if it's not that, I'm also sensing, group number 5, one thing I'm seeing is there's lots of flower crown imagery. Group number 5, you have flower crowns on Bridget, the Queen of Pentacles, and the 9 of Wands. There's something that kind of like group number 1 is very natural about you. Like I said, you're able to make very inexpensive things, or things that you find look good, because you put your own spin to it. Maybe I'm sensing that some of you could even work out with wellness and resilience and balance. Maybe some of you do yoga, or some of you do some sort of workout routine, or maybe some of you are very proud of your diet. Maybe you have a special diet, vegetarian, vegan, or you look after your health or body or something, is what I'm hearing, group number 5. And people really see that about you, and they're like, wow, I wish I could stick to a workout routine like that. I wish I had a body like that. I can't believe how disciplined she is or he is with their diet. And maybe you're just someone who's always constantly focused on your wellness, you're keeping your body fit, keeping your mental health fit. I'm just sort of seeing, group number 5, you're someone who's went through a lot of things in your life that were very, very hard. Maybe it was like extreme work, extreme stress, something came crashing down in your life where you had to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Maybe when you were a child, you had to be the parent or something. And because of that, now you have learned the importance of balance, because we have the balance stone twice, which is telling me some of you guys could be really flexible. You could do splits, you could do yoga, you could have a good physical body, or just in general, your life is very healthy, or it will be in the future if you're not there yet, and Spirit wants you to know that you're going to have a balanced life soon. There's something about your lifestyle that is just so grounded, and people are like, wow, I wish I could do all the things they do. They're so healthy. I wish I could do that. Their body looks good, or their diet's so good, or whatever the case may be. But I do see group number 5, you are very grounded. You're very connected to the earth. Some of you might have a green thumb. Some of you guys just might like to walk around barefoot. There's something very earthy about you, very like you like being out in nature. Maybe you like hiking in nature, or maybe you're just like a nature flower child or something. People really like that about you. And I'm seeing, with I act respectfully of others and I offer words of good intent, group number 5, that people actually say very positive things about you behind your back. With the other ones, not so much, okay? But with you, group number 5, I'm seeing with these cards, people talk very positively about you. And I see that too with the Libra I balance. I'm seeing that everybody who comes into contact with you, they're not jealous. Instead, they're going behind your back and talking you up and singing your praises even when you're not aware of it. And I see that about children too. If you have children, or you've had to take care of younger siblings like they were your children, they say that about you as well. And I'm also sensing for some of you, you guys might have like a connection, like I said, with animals, and people really like that about you. But I'm also seeing too, a lot of you have just this genuine mother spirit. Even if you're a male, or even if you're not a mother, there's something very like Mother Earth and Gaia about you, where you will invite anyone into your home and take care of them. You give great hospitality. You're generous with others. You show people you care with acts of service. You are someone who's reliable. That's another thing I heard. You never break a promise. You're very reliable. And when you say something, when you say you're going to do something, you do it. You have very good integrity. And also you just have this childlike spirit, despite everything, that people really respect. So it's hard for people to hate you or even be jealous of you, because you have such strength. And that strength is because despite everything, despite how hard life was, you have managed to smile and make things beautiful. And you always help people out because you know what it's like to struggle. You're probably really nice to service people. You show great hospitality. You're very generous. You're always there for others struggling because you know what it's like. The only thing I see, group number 5, is what you have to look out for is possibly people taking advantage of you, or possibly people who overstep their boundaries with you or take you for granted, because you don't whine or complain. You just you acted into integrity, and sometimes you might feel taken for granted, but I want you to know you're not. People sing your praises. They really do behind your back. That's something I really see about you. I also see, group number 5, one thing about you is I feel like in life, you might have been someone who like did a working class job or had like some sort of tough job, or life. But one thing people really respect about you, group number 5, especially in the future, if this hasn't happened yet, you will build yourself up, as I see with the burden, the Nine of Wands building, the Tower building into the Queen of Pentacles. So this talks about you work hard for everything you have, and one day, because of that determination and drive, and because of that, because you never give up, because you're not a PUSSY, you're going to build something very sturdy that people respect in life. And I see, you know, if that hasn't happened yet, you're in the process of doing that, or you're close to that, or it's going to happen in the future. And that's something people are really going to respect about you, of how hard you worked to get where you are. It wasn't just handed to you. You had integrity. You started out as the dishwasher, ended up as the CEO, you know, use that as the metaphor. But that's something people really respect and love about you. Now, another thing I'm seeing for you, group number 5, is when I asked about who secretly admires you and why, we have the cross, we have the dog, and we have the owl. So first of all, I want you to know, group number 5, your ancestors are very proud of you. Your ancestors are watching you. Your ancestors have seen, they've watched with an owl of how much you've went through, and they've been cheering you on, and they are proud of you. I also see, ooh, I'm getting the tingles. I'm also seeing with the cross and the dog, this is a friend of yours, a friend who's been very loyal to you for a long time, or someone who has been in your life for a very long time. This could be someone you know through church, or this could be someone who has a cross tattoo, or a dog, or an owl tattoo, or just in general, this could just be someone who has been a steady person in your life for a very long time. Maybe someone you knew through church. If not that, this is a general reading. I'm just blurting out everything I saw. And I'm also seeing group number 5 that one thing people really admire about you is your wisdom that you have gained from all of the tough experiences in your life. And also the fact that you are loyal. You are loyal and you have a lot of integrity. And because of that, it's very hard for you to find people who are on your level, honestly, because most people aren't going to be like you with the amount of integrity. But I am seeing group number 5 that there is somebody, a friend of yours, who really does appreciate you and speaks your praises behind your back, even though sometimes I'm sensing group number 5, you do have a tendency to feel taken for granted. I do see with the Jupiter, Aquarius, and Libra card, it's very likely that this person could be a Libra sun, moon, and rising, a Pisces sun, moon, and rising with Jupiter, an Aquarius sun, moon, and rising, a Sagittarius sun, moon, and rising, or a Leo sun, moon, and rising. And I'm also sensing, once again, this could be your children. This could be a friend who's been consistent in your life for a very long time. This could be someone who is Jupiter in Leo, or Jupiter in Aquarius if you know their birth chart, or Jupiter in Libra. But I do feel like there's been some sort of steady rock who, you know, really respects you and has seen your journey. I do see with Jupiter in the 4th house as well, guys, that one thing about you is you're very generous with your home, hospitality. The people who respect and admire you are in your family lineage, your ancestors, and also I'm sensing just you have like some sort of connection you've known for a while. You have a lot of history with this person, that person. And also if you are involved in a church or a spiritual community, I'm sensing that it could be that person as well. So we have some channeled messages for you, group number 5, from the people who really respect and admire you. We have, I wish I was there for you when you needed me. I'm sorry. I am sorry for how I hurt you in the past. I'm sorry I did not value you or see your worth then. I see your transformation now and feel like a fool. And we also have, I want to be like you. I admire everything about you. You inspire me to be better. And we have, I am manifesting praying for a person like you or for a connection with you. So group number 5, I don't feel like a lot of this is romantic. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not something I saw. However, what I do feel like is it could have once been romantic, but now it's more just a connection or a friendship connection. But I really sense a platonic or family level where a family member is very sorry that they weren't there for you in your struggle or your time of need, and they've seen how much you built yourself up independently on your own, and they really respect that journey that you have made. They've seen your transformation from rags to riches, or metaphorically, and I really feel like it's a family member who took you for granted, a child who was acting very ungrateful, or maybe a friend who you felt took you for granted or something like that. I feel like one of those people, keep in mind this is a general reading, it could be one or all of them, really regrets that they weren't there for you when you needed them. And it's almost like now they want back in your life because, one, I feel like they're lonely, they want love, and you give love like nobody else, unconditional love and friendship. And I also feel like with judgment and empathy, group number 5, I feel like, both of you could have judged each other on your shortcomings in the past, whether it's a family member or a friend or child. But I really feel like now they're starting to see, and you're starting to see what's really important. And it's not about judgments about each other, but it's about love and it's about connection, right? So I feel like, a strengthening of a relationship, and someone who probably will never leave your life and will probably be there for you until the day it's your last days on earth. That's how I feel about this connection I'm picking up. Remember, it's a general reading. It could be any of them. But I really do feel that way. I feel like it's a spiritual, lifelong connection, platonic family member, or someone where it was romantic and now it's just platonic, if that makes sense. And I feel like a lot of people were not there for you during this struggle. But you've learned to be independent, and you built yourself up with barely any help, and now I feel like these people want to tell you how proud of you they are, and just like how no one has the strength to do that, and they're sorry they weren't there. It's almost like you proved them wrong, or they didn't see how messed up they were until you proved that you could do it without them, if that makes sense, group number 5. So that's what I see about you. I really hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.